How's it going, everyone? We've got quite a lot of Expedition 33 and Sandfall Interactive as a studio updates to go over in this video. Obviously, a lot of news on the free update that is in development, and that'll be a significant free update, but also beyond the free update, they are working on their next game, so we'll talk about that. A little bit of insight as far as the ending of the game, and there is no canon ending, and it's really left to you to decide what ending to go with. I won't talk about it, as far as delving into spoilers, but we'll give a mention to that. And again, the free major update is in development. More on that at the end of this video. But that update is not what all of Sandfall is going to be working on. In fact, creative director Guillaume Broche did note that the team at Sandfall is working on their next game, noting we are starting to think and work on the next real game, which is super exciting, and we have a lot of very good ideas. We don't plan to grow the studio much, which, by the way, that's been a reoccurring sentiment, even though Expedition 33 was a gigantic success, a colossal success. They want to keep the studio as is, and they don't want to expand it too much, and I think that's a great idea. I think if you've got a talented team that's working in unison together, and as a team there's a lot of synergy, don't expand it too much. We're not expecting a game that's taking everything to the absolute next level. You don't need to improve the visuals or whatever, add a billion more hours of content. What was there in Expedition 33 in terms of scale, I think is fine, and if we just get different ideas thrown in there from a team that's working in unison and synergizes well together, I think that's all that people want. He noted, we want to remain very small and agile with a strong creative vision and a game that feels very unique and artsy. We want to keep that. That's our DNA, and that's how we work. But also, talking to Washington Post, as far as what the next game is going to be from a mechanics and style standpoint, he noted we don't want to be constrained by story, art style, or gameplay in whatever we want to make next. So nothing to say. He just said we just want it to feel authentic and made with love. And with Expedition 33, I felt like that's one of those things that game shines through with so much. There is an element of a little bit of jank to it. A little bit of jank. Does anyone actually care about that? No! Nobody gives a crap, because I feel like anybody that plays Expedition 33 can attest to the fact that that game has so much love and soul to it. That is really the word. It has a lot of soul to it and passion attached to it. A lot of the times when I play these open world games that try to, oh my god, let's try to farm engagement from our players, let's get all these hours of gameplay out of it, it just feels so lifeless, so soulless, no passion attached to it. And with Expedition 33, it was the sheer opposite of that. And Expedition 33 has a good amount of content to it, but it feels like there's so much love and effort put to a lot of areas of the game where it matters, and I think that's one of those aspects of the game that just clicked with me, and you just feel moved while playing the game. Sure, mechanically, the game might not be for everyone. Not everyone might like the turn-based mechanics. Not everybody might like the parrying and everything like that, and I've heard that from people, that the game didn't click with them as much as it did me, but I feel like just going through the game from a soundtrack standpoint, an art style standpoint, aesthetics, atmosphere, voice acting, all of it is... There's so much love that was poured into this game, and if they can keep that true for the following title, whenever that does drop, and given the fact that they are building so much goodwill as it is, I think the sky is truly the limit for how big the next game can be, because the next game now, the issue with the next game is, now we know what Sandfall is about. They've dropped a literal Game of the Year contender. Potentially, it'll end up being Game of the Year. You're not gonna have that element of Expedition 33 where it kind of came out of left field, came out of nowhere for a lot of people. Yes, the nerds, the hardcores like myself, saw this game at the Xbox Game Showcase in 2024, and we were like, holy hell, this is a game that everybody needs to know about, but it wasn't breaking that core bubble until it came out and people were blown away by it, and now everybody knows about it. That surprise factor isn't gonna be there with the follow-up title, because now the expectations are gonna be sky high, and people are gonna be expecting, oh, this game is coming from Sandfall? That means there's a potential Game of the Year contender. When you have that level of expectations, there's a lot of pressure that goes alongside that, so we'll see how that is ultimately received, but I'm sure Sandfall will do a killer job, and it will be interesting to see, they're doing this big free update. Are they gonna do more content with the Expedition 33 cast and do a paid DLC? I think there's a lot of potential for a paid DLC, and I think a lot of people would be all over that. And if it does win Game of the Year, the idea of doing a Game of the Year, I mean, it doesn't even have to win Game of the Year, but doing a complete edition, a Game of the Year edition with a new physical release, like, people would be all over that. Porting the game to the Switch too, that would do incredibly well. And from a financial standpoint, just making money off the IP, I just think that makes a lot of sense. And probably that idea of just making money off the IP, that's not what Sandfall wants to go for, but there's an appetite, there's a desire, there's a want for more Expedition 33 content. And I think after the free update, people would drop $15 to $20 on a new piece of content that would add, you know, 10 to 12 hours of gameplay. I think people would be all over that. Speaking of which, as far as continuing the story and how the game ends, if you don't know, Expedition 33, and some people are going to view this as spoilers, so just, you know, skip forward a couple minutes if you do want. Not really going to delve into spoilers, but there is a potential for 2 different endings in the game, and lead writer Jennifer Svenberg-Yen noted this: "I tell everyone there is no correct ending. There is no canon ending. There is no official Sandfall ending. Both endings are there for a reason. We put them both there for a reason. They were designed in a very particular way. Neither is perfect. Both are heartbreaking in their own ways." There is an ending that I personally prefer, and it really depends on which way you want to go. Like, they're both, like, that is correct. They are both heartbreaking, but one, I feel like, has a sense of finality in a good way to it. But yeah, that's the ending I prefer. I feel like if you beat this game, you can kind of piece together what I'm saying. Like, that idea of finality, I feel like, is tied to one of the endings, where I feel like the other ending, that element of finality, it's there, but honestly, in a far more depressing way, in my opinion. But that's what I'll say for that. But as far as what ending is canon, there isn't one. Decide which ending you like better. Lastly, I do want to reiterate, again, the free update is in development right now, and all of that is alongside the 5 million copies that game has already sold, which is a staggering number. And with this free update, again, this is an update they could have easily charged $9.99 for, and I think people would have bought it. However, building goodwill is so important in the current climate of gaming, and given that, you know, they don't have shareholders to answer to or anything like that, hey, that's great. This free major update will add a new playable environment, taking the characters of Expedition 33 to a brand new location with new enemy encounters and surprises to discover, challenging new boss battles for late game players to overcome, new costumes for each member of the expedition, giving even more customization options for players throughout their adventure, new text and user interface game locations, localizations, excuse me, and even more surprises fans can look forward to. So there might be even more that we don't know about as far as more content to delve into. We'll see just how big this update is going to be, but as a free update, keep your expectations in line. But yeah, I would just love to see a paid expansion as well, because there's only so much you're going to get with a free update. But the idea of, you know, a story about the other expeditions, or a story that takes the cast of Expedition 33 on a different bit of a side story. I think there's a lot more potential to get more out of Expedition 33, but I mean, hey, that's me being kind of selfish. I just want more of the game. It is my game of the year. I do put it 1A, 1B with Death Stranding 2. Like, I love Death Stranding 2, but I really hope Expedition 33 ends up winning the Game of the Year awards from the Game Awards, because at the end of the day, Hideo Kojima don't need another Game of the Year award. Who cares? Hideo Kojima is a made man. You know who's not a made man or a made entity? Sandfall at this point, but a Game of the Year award would really elevate them, and that's what I care about. The Game of the Year, to me, you're never gonna really get everybody as a consensus opinion to agree on what's Game of the Year. And I saw somebody left in the comments saying, oh, Elden Ring, everybody agreed. A lot of people thought God of War Ragnarok should have won Game of the Year in 2022. So, I just feel like there's never gonna be a consensus, oh, everybody agrees. So I look at Game of the Year from the standpoint of what studio deserves it, what game could use it, and what can it do to elevate them. And Sandfall Expedition 33 is the one that falls in line with me, and it's actually a Game of the Year quality game. Like, at the end of the day, that's what we can really say. I have my personal opinion as far as 1A, 1B, but I think everybody can at least understand that Expedition 33 is a Game of the Year quality game. Like, Elden Ring isn't my cup of tea, but anybody with half a brain cell could understand, okay, yeah, that's a Game of the Year quality game, and I feel like anybody can understand that with Expedition 33, even if they didn't absolutely love the game, because that's always going to be the story with Game of the Year. But nonetheless, not to go on that diatribe again, that free update hopefully will be out by the end of the year. I think the best case scenario would be to try to time the update alongside the Game Awards, because at the very least it's going to be nominated. If it's not nominated, I mean, that's an absolute sham and it loses so much credibility. But I digress. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts. Where would you like to see Sandfall go? Would you like them to do another turn-based game? I feel like they've got the turn-based formula down pretty well, and seeing that continuing to evolve, I think, could do pretty well. But as long as their next game has that heart and soul that Expedition 33 had, I think people are going to be very excited for it. And it might end up being a little bit different as far as the ending of the game. No canon ending, but yeah, both endings I think are fairly well executed. I know a lot of people had like criticism as far as where the story went, and I thought that was going to be the case because I was grinding that game when it came out, and I remember getting to the end of the game and I'm like, I wonder how everybody's going to think about it, but I ended up really liking the direction of the story, and I thought it was just weaved together very well. And that free update hopefully will be out by the end of the year, but that's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.